Chapter 21. The silence that follows Liam sharing his story is equally momentous as hearing what happened to him. In the stillness, I can sense his vulnerability, and a mixture of deep pain and indescribable yearning fills the air. At first, I wonder if it's an internal reaction, until Liam's muscles tense as he sits up straighter like the wind caught the drift and intertwined us both in it. There's one question that still remains from Liam's story, and it nips at my spine. How does Gavin know what Impetus was planning? How did he know to save you and when to save me? Liam ignores my question. We should get back to everyone else. My shoulders slump. I reluctantly let go of my embrace around Liam's back. I don't know what I had in mind, but returning to Rebirth and interrupting this moment united with Liam isn't my first choice. Liam places a towel on the log and walks to the edge of the trees, granting privacy while I get dressed again. I find the change of clothes Marlena provided in the bag and quickly slip on the undergarments, a pair of black jeans, a plain white t-shirt, and sneakers. I sigh with relief. I'm brand new. We walk back to Rebirth in silence, his arm around my waist for extra support that I unfortunately still need. The water made it easy to believe I was healed, but moving on land again is a reminder of the healing that still needs to occur. Marlena is the first one we see when we enter the center of Rebirth. My first reaction is to avoid eye contact and walk back to my cot with Liam. Instead, she yells, "Hey, good morning, guys!" and jogs to us with her ponytail bouncing behind her as always. Was that your first bath since you've been here, Evangeline? She reaches out to touch my wet hair. Doesn't the water feel magnificent here? I nod and reply, I think any water would feel incredible at this point. She giggles, realizing the irony in it. Hey, let me help you with your hair. I'm sure it's hard to do right now, and you don't need to be walking around with wet hair all morning. Before I can protest, Marlena puts her arm around my waist on the opposite side of Liam. She winks at him and says, I got her from here. You go on and play with the rest of the boys. Liam hesitates for a moment, but then lets his hand drop. His eyes are turned downward, the exhaustion clearly painted on his face as he utters, Let me know if you need anything else, okay? I'll see you later. I wave in acknowledgement, sad and disappointed. Liam's shoulders are hunched as he walks away, and I wish I could say or do anything at all to mend his broken heart. He revealed so much this morning. Since I couldn't seem to find the right words to say or things to do, an uncomfortable emptiness claws at the air in the expanding distance between us. Marlena's voice soon interrupts the melancholy moment as she pulls me with her in a more detailed tour of Rebirth than the one Gavin gave me. She points out several people, telling me their names and what they're like, and how she wants me to meet them once I'm able to get around better. You will love it here, she repeats, like trying to convince me of it too. We finally stop walking when we arrive at a small square hut with flowers decorating the clay walls. I'm relieved for the break. It's been the most walking I've consistently done so far. Marlena lets go of my waist, takes my hand, and pulls me inside. This is my place. She extends her arm out to introduce me to her home, which means it's the home she shares with Gavin. My heart stops. The first thing I notice is the large grassy area in the back, with several blankets on top and 2 pillows near the wall. That must be where they sleep. In that thought, the twinge of jealousy that occurs when Marlena is around now punches me hard in the stomach. The onset took a little longer today, but there's no denying it. I'm jealous of Marlena. I hate the thought of Gavin's attention being with someone else more than me. Or maybe there's more to it. Every time I look at the bed, the pang is much worse. Here, She drags a tree stump from the corner and sits it next to a mirror hanging on one wall. Sit. I obey, gradually lowering myself to the stump, welcoming the opportunity to take the weight off my legs. Marlena picks up a brush from the tiny table in front of the mirror and pulls it carefully through my hair. I lean my head back and push into the bristles. The sensation is marvelous. I've brushed my own hair for years and never knew how relaxing it can feel. How are you doing so far? Especially with the withdrawal, Marlena asks. I knew a conversation would ensue, but the brushing makes me want to close my eyes and forget reality for a while. It's tough, I admit. There are times I feel like I can't breathe because I don't have access to remedy. Yeah, she agrees sympathetically. After all these years of them making you believe you need it, ridding your body of it is as much mental as it is physical. You'll get there, I promise. Focus on these new feelings you get to experience. I know it's easier said than done. It took me a while too. Wait, you used to be on remedy? You didn't grow up in rebirth? I'm astounded, wondering if I ever crossed paths with Marlena. She couldn't have come from Impetus. I would have remembered her. You can't forget someone like Marlena. She stops brushing my hair and walks in front of me, leaning back on the table. You and Gavin haven't talked much yet, huh? I don't respond. I'm still processing what she said. She hasn't always been a part of his community. Gavin, he's exceptional. Marlena's brown eyes sparkle. He saved me too. He pretty much saved all of us. Gavin saved everyone in Rebirth? So that's what they mean by it being a new community. Then where is he from? And why is he saving everyone? I shake my head, sorting through these churning questions. Marlena squeezes my elbow gently. I know it's a lot to take in. Yeah, to put it mildly. I realize how little Gavin has shared with me. My voice is on edge. The questions are building, and Gavin is apparently the only one who can grant me answers, and no one knows where he is. Marlena analyzes me while tapping her chin. With a nod of resolve, she takes a towel to my damp hair and pulls a brush through it again as she talks. Without a change in her tone, she states, Gavin was born in Impetus. My mind blanks. I'm speechless. I almost don't believe it. There's no reason for Marlena to lie, but the idea of him living within those thickets, when all I've ever known is him on the outside, is a thought I can't accept. I can hear her sharp breaths as though she's debating on how much information she should reveal. You remember hearing the legend about the boy who climbed the Lightstones? That couldn't be. Gavin? I ask, even though the answer is obvious. The one and only, she chuckles softly. Early on, probably as soon as he could talk, he was questioning absolutely everything. This was before they created the curiosity ban. I think they assumed that by blocking emotions and feelings with remedy, people wouldn't be inclined to ask questions if situations didn't affect them on such a deep level. Our Gavin challenged that concept pretty quickly. Marlena's knowledge about Impetus makes another fact evident. You're from there too? Yeah. I detect the despair in her voice. She keeps the focus on Gavin, though. They tried multiple times to fix him. They ran tons of tests, upped his remedy doses, threatened him, disciplined him. Finally, some horrible person came up with those punishment chambers. They were reluctant to use them at first, but, as you know, they got over that pretty quickly. Marlena's voice quickly transitions from sadness to anger. She pauses with the brush in my hair. I watch her behind me through the mirror. Her dilated eyes lift to the sky as though stuck in a memory she can't climb out of. Impetus punished her, too. Or maybe she can't stand the idea of Gavin being punished. They had him in one of those for a few days. Each time they checked on him, he acted fine, which frustrated them more. He wasn't actually fine, though. You know that. Everyone breaks a little in those things, even the strongest of us. How can you not? The way you feel so desperate for help as people walk right by you, not realizing that you're there, but when you can see them so clearly. Her voice cracks. It hurts. Badly. You feel like you're going crazy. They designed them well, considering their evil purpose. She snorts resentfully. Anyway, Marlena subconsciously returns to the motion of pulling the brush through my hair, even though her mind is elsewhere. After those few days, someone saved Gavin from that chamber. He refuses to say who it was. Apparently that's the deal he made with the mystery rescuer. The two of them then started rebirth together, and Gavin has been saving people ever since. As he says, people are emotions. We were created to feel, and by denying us that privilege, we're denied from the best parts of this life. He's right. Life now, even with some of the more undesirable feelings, is much better than before. There's a purpose to this all now. Life isn't strictly logical, I mutter. Gavin has said that many times in our visits together. Marlena laughs. You know him well. She uses her hands to smooth down my hair and says, Okay, take a look. Let me know if you want me to do something different. I look in the mirror at my now completely dried hair. There really must be something in the water here, because even with nothing done to it, it's prettier than ever. Blonde strands fall in natural waves on my shoulders, cascading to my back like a waterfall. It was always captured in a ponytail, regulated by impetus like everything else, and never this free. It's beautiful, Marlena. Thank you. She squeals and claps her hands together, officially transitioned out of her bleak state of mind. I know I keep saying it, but I'm just so glad you're here. As much as I want to despise Marlena for having Gavin, for her making me now share Gavin, Marlena reminds me of Jacqueline, and she wins me over right away. Jacqueline. A sharp stab in my heart. I miss her. I absolutely miss her. Memories of my times with her inundate my mind with these newfound emotions sweeping underneath. Happiness, joy, appreciation, respect, love. I'm sure this is love I feel for her. It's similar to the reaction that so far has only resonated when Gavin's around. This thick string that connects each thought about them to a place deep down inside of me, carrying a weight that cannot be swayed. I need them with every ounce of who I am, and would do anything in this world to protect them. What is Jacqueline doing right now? Has she wondered what happened to me? There's no telling what sort of lies Impetus spread about me afterward, and surely the lies are abundant. Jacqueline is smart enough to figure it out, right? She could piece it together. Unless they declared I'm now unpaired, none of my old level mates would question it, since the rest of them are paired. That immediately separates us from ever talking again in a social element. Jacqueline had obstinate faith in Impetus and their ways. If they told her something, she believes it. She will spend her entire life listening to their lies and taking everything at face value. I should have told her more. Maybe she would be searching for me right now if she knew the truth. If only I didn't keep them to myself. Then a thought so powerful strikes me that my body trembles in response. I need to save her. I need to save everyone in Impetus.